Today, we had Matthew, one of our members, who joined our program to transform his body for his wedding, and he had a great transformation. Matthew, how you feeling?
Feeling great. Feeling really good. Yeah, it really was quite the transformation, and the wedding pictures really came out nice. Definitely was a lot comfortable in my body and just was like feeling good, like strong, healthy. So yeah, it really turned out great.
Okay, glad to hear that. So, what were you struggling with the most before joining the program?
Before joining the program, what I was struggling most with was the nutrition. Nutrition was definitely the hardest. I'm definitely have a very big sweet sweet tooth. I do like my croissant, my pain au chocolat, my donuts. So anything sweet, it's sometimes hard for me to stay away, especially when I have cravings. And I didn't have a good grasp of I've never had done like calorie counting before and counting my macros, knowing how much protein I need to intake. There's so much content and various information online and in articles about how much protein you're supposed to take. Like some say sugar's not good, some say fat's not good, some say you have to stay away from carbs. So definitely the program definitely helped me in kind of like silencing all that jargon that's and all that misinformation in a way of like what's good, what's not good. Like especially like I always had like my mother saying, "Oh, you should have avocado. It's healthy fat, but fat is fat. There's no healthy fat, especially when you're trying to lose fat." So,
Yeah.
it was like definitely those types of information, and that's where the program definitely kicked in, and I definitely saw like on a daily basis, even though it might be water intake and whatnot, but I saw definitely the progression of my weight decreasing.
And what made you decide to take the first step and work with me?
So the first step I think was Laudan. Obviously, Laudan was working with you. My wife was working with you for a few months before I had joined, and she was seeing results, and she was like, "Yo, you should really come and join the mirror. Definitely, you'll see more progress." Because at first, when I was doing it on my own and not counting the calories I set for the nutrition, I was more on like bulking rather than losing weight. I was getting mass and volume and muscles, but I was not losing like fat. So that was definitely one of the things that helped. And I think also affordability was another thing compared to other trainers. And that definitely helped with me pulling the trigger.
And what almost stopped you from joining?
I guess ego would be one of the things that might have stopped me a bit from joining at first was like, oh, well, I could do it. I've done it before. And I had in the past, like, relied more on myself, and wanted to just save the money. But in this case, I was like, you know what? It's too big of an event. And, it's like, if it doesn't work out, let me try it for a month. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At least I've tried and I'll gain knowledge out of it, knowledge that I don't have. So, I think those probably were things, but I was really glad that I did pull the trigger.
And what do you love about the program, the workouts, nutrition? What specifically do you enjoy there?
What I love about the programs is like, so it's definitely a good way to like record keep everything. Everything's in one location. You had everything for the nutrition is kept there. Your workouts are there. It's like kind of like a to-do list on like your training and your nutrition. Obviously, there is that part like you have to put in your work in it. If you don't put it, it's not going to be there, and there's no point, honestly, if you're not going to do the work. So that was definitely the positive. But I think the other positive was your reachability, being able to reach you. And I think that's also another point of what I'm like 90%, 99% of the time skeptic on these types of programs of like remote or like joining programs like this is because um you are the difference to the rule where it's like before like any other things that I may have joined or done is like I can't get any feedback or like send a video or be like, hey, is this form correct? Like I had never done that, and I did that with you when I wasn't sure about my form on one of the bag exercises. So, and I never record myself. I felt like I was that person that instead, like the person is like, oh, I'm gonna take a video of myself working out just because I'm like, oh, muscle. But no, it was more actually for form and for educational purposes that I had done that. And I loved it. I sent you the video, you reviewed it, and I think within an hour or two, you're like, no, your form's actually good. And you gave me some points about like if I wanted to have more range of motion to lower the bench. And yeah, it was exactly what I needed. And on top of that, doing that actually gave me more confidence. I was like, I actually do have good form because I personally somebody who's very critical and very OCD and like everything needs to be perfect form and stuff like that. So once that I had that reassurance that my form was good, then I could that like literally went out the window and I actually then was able to increase and improve more range of motion and time under tension.
So, what kind of results did you get out of the program?
So the results, I mean, the visible one is definitely I got more tone. My muscles were much more visible, so I got leaner muscle mass. I definitely lose weight. So I joined you when I joined you, I think I was at 190, 192, and then at the peak of the wedding, I was at 175, 172 around there. So I had lost approximately in like 2, 3 months of us working together, I had lost like 20 pounds, if not a little bit more or less. But there was obviously, it's not like a straight like progression. Well, in this one, downwards. It was not straight. There was obviously the weekends where I had to have my little cheat meals, not cheat days, cheat meals. So breakfast was when I would focus on like having those things, which definitely it was good to have those pleasure moments. So it didn't like create a little bit of like it didn't reduce or didn't bring pleasure, so I was enjoying everything. So those are definitely some of the progress I've seen. And then on the strength part, I definitely saw like that was one thing else on the app was nice was any time that my weight increases or my repetition increased, it would know like, oh, you have a new personal best or you did you bested your previous record. So that was also a nice feature from the app is keeping track of that. And then at the end of workouts was like, oh, you increased like by this much percentage or like those were definitely some of the nice things that came out of it for sure.
And what was the biggest value you got from the program that you weren't expecting?
The biggest value I got from Pride that I was not expecting, I think, was the knowledge in nutrition. What good nutrition meant, and actually means and what you can actually do. Because again, like I said, there's so much like with influencers and YouTube and all that and all these different articles and paid by for these different entities. There's so much misinformation on what's good or what's not good for the body or like for like gaining or like from for reducing weight so and losing fat. So I think that's definitely the knowledge. And I think it made also like counting my macros a little bit more less taboo. As again, like for me, it was like I was always worrisome of me going that path because I fall into rabbit holes. Anything that I do, I usually fall into rabbit holes. So I was thinking that I would get really to the milligram, started like noting all these things, but I didn't. I just really kept it to the key macros that you had on the app. And yeah, that's what I took off from it, and that's what I keep on taking it from it still now.
So, was the investment worth it for you?
Oh, for sure. The investments was definitely worth it. And it is definitely with right now, unfortunately, with the like, well, fortunately, unfortunately, with the financings having to be tightened, that's something that I had to sacrifice. But once the belt gets loosened on the finances, that's definitely I'll be coming back, as I said, and coming back and training back with you so that we can keep this growth and then go to new levels.
Sounds good. We can definitely take it to another level. All right.
Great.
And who would you recommend this program to?
I would recommend this program to anyone that, like me, felt like they could do something on their own or weren't didn't don't like to ask for help. I'm not somebody who likes to ask for help. I think this is goes back to my childhood of always being self-dependent and having to basically be my own adult. Lonely child, divorced parents, so I really have this baked into my a mentality of I can do it all. I shouldn't rely on other people. Relying on other people means being weak so or being unknowledgeable or not knowing things. So I think that is definitely something that people like me like that should give it a shot. But also people who are like you if you're skeptic about like this type of product, just give it a shot, give it a try. You have nothing to lose other than not doing it. Not doing is when you lose something because you're actually not trying and learning something new. And if you do it and it's not for you, then you've learned that, so you don't lose it. Okay, it's a little bit of money, it's money, but at the end of the day, that comes back to you. Like if it's something that you want to give it a try, and I think you you owe that to your body, you owe that to yourself to just invest that much into your body and see what comes out of it for you.
I appreciate you sharing that. It definitely resonates with me, and I'm sure it resonates with a lot of people.
I'm glad. Thank you.